Alrighty, welcome back. We're back at it again. Well, I want to thank you for coming back. Yesterday was a hard one, watching me cut and play with the manifold. But that's what my brain was telling me to do, was to cut and play with it. And I'm going to explain it here in a second or two. But the time is to try it on now. I've got it all welded up. And Jolene's going to come over with the camera and show you, give you a close-up on it, what it looks like. It doesn't look that bad at all compared, comparison to the gap that was going on, I had going on there. I got it welded in here. I took a little die grinder and cleaned off the weld on the inside, but now it's time to try it on. Also, what I'm going to say is I want to check and see if the plane is good. And I got a ruler here somewhere. I got a ruler down here, and we'll see if the plane's still good. And that's something I was worried about. Also, I could be wrong, and I could be right, but I'm thinking that this is cast steel, not cast iron. I think it's cast steel, so that's why I'm being able to weld it. And basically, this is what I want to see, and it doesn't look bad. When I put that on there, everything's still touching, looks good and true. I wouldn't send it away to get it plain looking like that. No, I wouldn't. So that's where it's at. But basically what I have to do is I'm going to try it on right in front of your very eyes. You watched me cut it. You watched me play with it. There was a lot of different things going on. I could have put it upside down. Head in the air. I could have tried to use the other manifold going the other way. I tried all that stuff. It did not work. Also, I even tried the opposite one on this side and have it turned down. It still would not fit in there because it's too wide for that. It's just too wide. I'm thinking that the only way for me to get this to fit was what I did, and the reason being is because I've thought it all over. Like, I've really went over every process and every avenue in my brain that I could think of, upside down, inside out, use the other one, turn the other one around. Do I want to shoehorn it all the way around and go under like that? And basically, there was a lot of things going on in my brain, so I'm just going to try this on right now. Let's get it on. It fit. Let's get it straight. It fit when I welded it together. It did. It fit when I welded it together. Fit when I welded together before I took it off, so we should have no problem right this present moment. Alrighty. There's your manifold down in there, nice, beautiful. Jolene's very beautiful, and the manifold has nothing on Jolene. I am touching as I put this on there. The manifold down by the frame looks good. It does. Does look good. Not hitting anything. It looks good. The manifold looks like it would fit, no problem whatsoever. It looks good. What is going on here, though? What I see going on, it's still touching there, and this is what I'm thinking. As it's still touching there, I'm going to take this off now that I know it fits. I'm going to take it off. We'll just talk it over here for a second. So I had a manifold that never fit. I took some time and made it fit, but it's still touching. So basically this is where my brain's going now. As I'm going to put this down for a second, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I had these little stilts put on here on the motor mount, and the reason I tacked them, because the motor would go this way and go that way. It would go back and forth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to do it right now, obviously, but when the body comes off, I got to take the body off this car. The car is not going to be that color. It's all painted underneath that color. I don't want it that color. I'm going to repaint it or do something with it and change it. But when I take the body off, I'll be able to get at the weld where I've taken that off, put the body mount on. And I will just take the engine and I will take it over that far. I'll just rock it over this way a little bit, because you could rock it before, and I've tacked it so it was center, but I'm not going to do that now. Now that I have a manifold fitting, I'm just going to take and move the engine over enough that I miss my steering box, basically. And what I want to say is, this is what I want to say. It's Sunday Fun Day, and Jolene looks amazing today, and we are on air. I forgot to put that sign on. We are on air. Thank you for the sign. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. When it come to me messing with the manifold, you know, I think yesterday was an hour and a half, whatever it was, whatever it took. With me messing with the manifold yesterday, this is what was going through my brain. The manifold never cost me a penny, never cost me a dime. It was given to me by a nice person, Jared Snare. He's into that sort of stuff. Not many people use the truck manifolds. He gave the manifolds to me. So this is where my brain went. It never cost me anything to mess with them. My brain had to take a little bit of time and do some work. Yes, it did, to cut them and get the right angle and put them on and take them off and do the work you see me do. We did it live right in front of your very eyes. But there was a lot of other things I could have done. I could have put a rack and pinion on this car. Well, when I get looking at it, and I did look at it, I can put a rack and pinion on that car, tear that steering out of there, where the steering goes across underneath the oil pan. You can see it right there behind this cross member. I could have put a rack and pinion in there, made 2 brackets come off this cross member, and put a rack and pinion in there, and knuckled my steering column and bring it down to my rack and pinion to do the steering. Yes, I could have. Then I could have put 2 tie rod ends out to my wheels so it turns. Okay, so as I got thinking about that, I got thinking about where am I going to get the rack, and how much is someone going to charge me for it, and when I do find one, how long is it going to take me to get it off, and is it going to be the right length? Once I get it, then I thought, well, I'm going to have to make some brackets for it. And then I'm not going to want to put used tie rod ends on it. I'm going to buy new tie rod ends. I'm going to have to buy a knuckle to get the knuckle down. Then I'm going to have to buy a knuckle at the rack and pinion because it's going to have a spline on it. So I'm figuring I would probably be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 just to get that geared up. It probably would take me, we'll say a couple hours, 3-4 hours to get it down in there and get some brackets made and get it put on. Probably. So we're into, you know, anywhere $500 to $1,000 plus the 4 or 5 hours to gear it up and get it going. Take off the steering that's there, pull all that all off. And then, you know, that's what I was thinking. How much money would it cost me, the time it would have took to do it. Also, I took my brain and used it and thought, well, there are a lot of suggestions to turn the manifolds around. Well, you know what? I didn't quite like that. I had the manifolds. They were for nothing. They didn't cost me anything. I had some pipe that I bought. I don't know what I paid for it, but it was a long time ago, $215. I could have done that and bring it around and went around like that and took it down to my exhaust where I got it. And remind yourself, I want to use the exhaust that I geared up. I cut a big hole in the chassis. I want that exhaust pipe to go through that hole into my exhaust pipe to make it look like I've made it, I've fabricated it that way, and I've done a good job at it. I was just thinking where it come down around like this and went back and cruised in like that, it wouldn't look that good, even though I have it covered. So I would have spent my time cutting the pipe, welding it together, trying to fit it down through there, and trying to get it through the hole. I did not like that idea. Jolene's laughing at me. I like when I make her laugh. I love it so much. I'm going to take Jolene antique shopping today. As soon as we get the little video done, the Sunday Fun Day, I'm going to take Jolene antique shopping, and then we're going to go to Hiltz Auto, maybe get a few things. But anyways, I didn't want to turn the manifolds around. Just didn't like that idea. I could have bought, I looked up another thing too. I've had a set of headers, a guy come in with a set of headers. It was on Marketplace. He came in, I tried them on, they didn't fit. They were $350. If they would have fit, I would have bought them just like that. I would have. They were nice shiny chrome. So when I look at the headers and I look through the header situation, I don't know what would fit. So I'm not going there. I'm not going to spend my money and not know if they're going to fit or not. So when you see a set of headers for $350 or a set of headers for $120 American or whatever, that means it's $350 to me. I'm not going to spend it because I don't know if it's going to work or not. And I'm not going to spend the money to modify it because I have a set of manifolds that I can modify it if I want to. So basically I cut the headers right out because I don't know if they're going to work. I could have bought a kit. I can buy a kit from Speedway. They sell a kit for an LS. I think it's $250, I think, or 200 and some. So when it gets here for me, you double it and add tax, so we're $600. We're $600, and I can make a set of headers. I've made a set of headers many times. But when $600 comes in effect, then it would take me 3, 4, 5 hours to make the headers. The body would have to be off so I can make the headers, sort of, to get down in there and play with it a little bit. Maybe not, maybe. So there's $500, $600 that would have cost for the headers, and I would have took 3, 4 hours to make the headers. So basically what it come to was that I had something for nothing, and all I had to do is use my brain is to try to make the exhaust manifold work. That's where it went. There was no money involved in me trying to make that work, no money involved. I was able to accomplish it because of, I know that the manifold fits the car, and I know that the exhaust can hook up to that, and I knew once I had it on that the exhaust can go through my hole that I want. So for me to take an hour and a half or an hour, whatever it took, to mess with that with no money, to me, it weighed out to be a better option than spending the $1,000 or whatever it would have cost for the rack and pinion, the knuckles, the tie rod ends, the time. It outweighed the headers because I could not buy the headers and I did not know if they fit. And I wasn't going to spend the money not knowing if they weren't going to fit. And I wasn't going to spend a bunch of money because I already had something that didn't fit right there. When it come to buying the headers, I would have bought the headers. Yes, I would have if I couldn't get that to work, if I couldn't spend a little time to make that work, I would have bought the headers. But the headers would have cost me $600, and plus it would have cost me double the time to make it work. So basically, that's how I do things. I mull everything over in my brain, yes I do, and I'm not always right, and I'll prove that to you. I'm not always right, but my brain does not go to spending money when I have something for nothing and I can try to make it work. I've welded cast steel before, I have, and it seemed to work fine. A lot of people said, heat it up and put it in your oven. As soon as you tack that with the welder, it starts heating up. By the time I get down in the kitchen oven and put it in the kitchen oven, then carry this hot header up here and try to get it welded in the snow, well, just kind of, it wasn't there for me. Tack it up, put some heat in it, and go for it. But also, I want to come over here. You come over that side, sweetheart. Please and thank you. As I, talk about doing that and whatever, well, when I did the transmission, I tried to get it up higher so I could get that header in there a little better. So I did go back in on the transmission tunnel, and I put another piece in there to try to get that back up there further. And I might even end up with the air ride on it, putting a brand new tunnel right from front to back. I might. I've just got it tacked in there. I didn't like all the tack burnt weld look, so I just put a little tape on it, make me, not look at it like it's so ugly, because it's not ugly, it's just not finished. But anyways, I went back in there and put a little piece in there. Jolene went to town, so I said, I'm going to put a little piece in there while she's going, and that's what I did. But anyways, I can jack the engine up a little bit further, but I don't want it up any further. To make my manifold work, I'm going to take that and snip that off and just move the engine over a little tiny bit. Not going to hurt anything because that's what universal joints are for. So basically, now that I've got that one fitting and working, and I know that I'm going to take the engine over a little bit, so I know I'm going to get some space in between my steering box and my header. I know I'm going to get that to work because I've got the motor mounts that I can slide over, move the engine over a little bit. Now I've got the exhaust manifold on this side that I have to work or fix. So basically what's going on this side, I'm going to show this side. Excuse me, sweetheart. A lot of talking there, wasn't there? A lot of talking. Chatty talky. So on this side, I have an issue with, this is what I have an issue with. When I put this on, I've got clearance in between my control arm, but down there back where the exhaust, what I want to do is I want to put a couple bolts in that just to see where it really goes. I'm just going to put a couple bolts in it to see where it really goes. There's a couple bolts right there. and then I can see where I got to cut it off. So what's going to happen is this piece right here is hitting down on the body of the car. I'm not cutting the body of the car. It's got a big enough tunnel in there now. Any bigger than that, well, whatever. The tunnel's big enough, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this manifold. I modified that manifold, so I'm going to modify this one. If it takes me a half hour, if it takes me an hour, if it takes me 2 hours, I'm still ahead of spending $500 and spending 4 hours or 3 hours fixing it. I really am, believe it or not. I'm not the right thread on these bolts, but it does line me up. Ah! Get out. Anyways, I want that bolt back. So I hope you understand where my brain went. It just kind of, my brain went to fixing that because I had it for nothing. It was so close, and I went for it. Basically, that's the end of the story on that one. And Jolene said, hurry up and get this done because I want you to take me shopping. Now, I'm not going to screw that in real tight. I'm just going to screw it in a little bit so it lines me up, sort of. Alrighty. All I know is when I put that on there, old slippery fingers, it's hitting down there. You can see where it's hitting, can't you, sweetheart? Can you see where it's hitting?
Yep.
Okay, so that's got to be turned. It's got to be turned. Turned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to turn it. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this down because I would not want to drop and break it. Not a good start. We'll get her though, baby. Whenever you get her, man, we'll get her. What I got going on here, this is hitting. So I want a flat spot here. That's hitting right there. So I'm going to draw a line right there. And I'm going to move this spot, turn it so it goes there. And that way there, that big, I'll lose all that space. And then that'll work, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm just going to cut it off straight and then move it and put it back on. Basically, that's what I'm going to do. And what I'm saying is you can do the exact same thing I'm doing. And you can take your brain and take and use it the way you want to use your brain. But in the end, I'm happy that I took my time and my effort and went for that. I slept like a baby last night. I did. I slept like a baby last night thinking, I did it, you know. I didn't spend a bunch of money. I didn't spend no money. I spent a little bit of time, and I got it. And the reason I say I got it, because it works. And I had to use my brain after that to figure, well, it's touching. How am I going to get away? That's when I went to the motor mount. So I'll just slide it over a little tiny bit, and we will be fine. Jolene's looking fine. All right, let's cut it off. You must admit, as I'm doing work like this, I sure do learn a lot about what can be done and what can't be done, basically. I do learn a lot because I'm not scared to go for it, not scared to. And I'm not even scared to show you because if I do not try, I would never succeed if I don't try. If I just do do the easy thing, well then how do you know what you really are capable of? And now I know that I cut any manifold. I just do about anything, you know. And I've realized that a long time ago that I'm allowed to do just about anything I want. And the only things hold me back is doing it. and a little bit of common sense. This is what I've learned about manifolds. They're really not that thick. You know, they're not really that thick. Also, I'm learning that all this sort of stuff can be ground off. That does not need to be there. You know, that can be ground off. It obviously is not in amongst what's going on the inside. So I know if I wanted to clean these bad boys off, I could cut them off because there's nothing in there. I could cut them off, clean them all up. I even took and ground off the serial number on that one there because if I just get a little bit away from the steering box, the more I can get away, the better. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to cut this one off. Where this one had quite a bit of distance in between the inner fender and that sort of stuff, I don't think I need to put the heat shield back on this one. That one there, if I get a little bit of distance, I might put a heat shield on it. I might. Just want to cut that out of the way. I'm going to cut this out of the way too. It doesn't affect anything, there's nothing there. Alrighty, there's my line. And what I wanted was, that's cut off straight, so I guess it doesn't matter, just as long as I get the least. I want it the least in there. So I'm thinking that that would be better than what I had, because this is where it was heading over here. Remember that? Oh, actually, I'll just put it like. Let's take it up and take a look at it. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. Hook my jaw right to her. So when I'm in like that, it sort of wants to be angled in. Sort of wants to be angled. It comes down like this. It sort of wants to be angled in like that. So why don't I do this? As I have that on there like that. This is the least amount. I can cut that little tab off. That little tab there, I can cut that off a little bit. That does not matter. Let's take and, if I took and angled that in a little bit like that, then I could, then it would. I also can angle this a little bit more. I'd like to have some gap is what I'd like to have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tack that on there like that. I know that I don't want this angle out like this because it sort of goes down towards the frame. So I want to angle it a little bit. And I'm going to tack it on here, tack it on the other side, and just check it out. Check it out. Fina want inside?
I think so.
I'm going to let Fina in. Fina's my dog. She's knocking at the door, so. She's knocking at the door. Ha! How did I know that? How you doing, Fina? How you doing? Good morning, man. Alrighty, let's knock this. Well, let's get this manifold done up, and then I'll take Jolene on a journey. Oh, I left her wide open. Does that mean it didn't leak? Alrighty, I'm going to turn her up Turn her up. The Lincoln welder did an excellent job welding it up yesterday. I got bundled up there a little bit, but that happens with every welder. That's what happens with every welder. The old welder did a good job yesterday. I will say that. Did a good job. Alrighty. I'm going to take a knock off an edge here so I can get a ground. I'm saying that this is cast steel, not cast iron. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. And I could be wrong, but I don't think. Now, there's the line I had. I don't want... I'm going to set that on something. Get a hammer and set that up a little bit. I did clean up yesterday a little bit. That's why I spent my time after I welded the manifold on. And I waited to try it on with me and you together so you can see what it looks like. And I'm happy. Happy. Now, yesterday when I welded up, there was no pinging going on. You know, when I first started welding, there was a couple little pings. Yes, there was. That was me getting the heat in it. And the weld where I tacked it, it did snap. Yes, it did. But once I got welding it and heating it, there was no snapping and crackling going on. Just gonna do this. I must say, the old thing welded up nice. Just put it in the oven at 400. The oven on at 400. Now I gotta take a look at this. Looks like it's gonna be hard to weld there, doesn't it? It does so. Might have to cut that off and get down in there and see what I can do. But first I want to do is try it on. That's quite a gap too. It's quite a gap. But that's what I'm thinking I need. Actually, when the engine comes over, I have to think about this side also too. When the engine turns over, you can see, see? That would turn on there nice. No, a second now, let me see. I want to turn that a little bit more. See, you can see how I can hold that too. I'm going to try to hold that so you can see. I want everybody to see. You can see how when I hold that on there, probably not right in place, but close. You can see how that flat spot needs to be turned. If I put the metal motor over, it's going to hit that tunnel again. So I've got to turn that a little bit more. It's not going to hit the frame because it's too far down. We're not going over that far, but it would hit side of the car. So this has got to be turned. This has got to be turned here. This has got to come more this way. So we're trying to take this and turn it the middle of this and get it up on this line. Take that back off again. But I do like the angle. I do like the angle. Let's cut this off. This is my line here. I want at least that much. Cut this off, make it easier on myself. Make it even a little more easier on myself. I'm going to get flapper wheel. Going to grind it off so it's flat and looks good. So in the end, we'll have 2 hours, probably 2 hours, we'll probably have 2, 3, we'll have 3 hours in both manifolds. We'll have 3 hours in both manifolds. And I could not have done any other repair and not spent money to have the same thing. So that's what I'm happy about. Happy, happy, happy. Beautiful. I'm gonna keep my line. Sort of. I'll cut this off, take this off. A little bit of grinder work, I know. Just turn the TV down. I'm not saying much while I'm grinding. That it matters. This is the day to get out and do something on your ride, man. It's Sunday. Sunday fun day. Now, I marked this one, I thought. Did I mark it? Yes, I did. Good boy, Chetty. Good boy. Alrighty. Just going to tack it on again. And I just marked it to so I could see where I put it back on or try it again and see if it works or not. Doesn't want to stay on. Here we go. We get a mark right there. I'm going to use the same gap as I did before. I think I want to. Turn that a little bit. And I just want to make sure I get that on there sort of the best I can. Heating it up the oven. That get her start to get warm, right? That'll get put the oven on her. It's quite a gap there, but I think that's what helps a lot, is me to have that gap on there so I can get some good heat rocking and rolling. Let's try it again. Now, we're a good inch away from the chassis. So when I roll it over, we're not going to be bad. I think that's going to work. That's going to work just fine. You want to try it again? Want to look at it? See if I can get it? Hold it. This is for you, boys. I got the nod from her. She said, I can't say. So I'm saying if I fit like that, I can get down by that frame. And also I can put the motor over a little bit because I got an inch between the firewall and I got an inch for the frame, so I can come over a little bit. There we go. So now it's me welding it up. Basically, we're not bad. We're fitting pretty good there. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fill all this full first, and then I'll go for the backside because the heat will be in it. The backside's got no gap, so I'm going to go for the gap first. Need my steel rod. I hope you could see how I was feeding that in there yesterday. Just putting the rod right to it, and it needs the metal there to put it together. We're gonna do it. Let's put our steel rod into it. I'm just gonna tack it together up here so it don't take off too far. Well, I don't think. She's in the oven there, baby. She's in the oven there. Let's do it again. Get her, keep her nice and hot if we can. Anything that's left over, like any weld on the inside, when I flip it upside down, that's when I grind off. That's when I grind off what's going on. Now anything restricting the airflow, I'll grind that off later. If we can lay that on there, we'll use it. Grab my other one. Trying to do it quickly to keep the heat in the thing. Get up here. Welder's working fantastic. Beautiful. I'm going to spot a little bit more on that. I like that a little bit better. I think we got her up to temp. We wouldn't want to touch it. I can see it nice down here. It's going well. I can see underneath here. It's going really well. Just going to weld this again. Keep the heat on her. Alrighty, there's one welded up manifold with a new direction, not one direction, the band, new direction. So that's the manifold for that side. Basically, I'm just going to let that set and go from there. And what we'll do, we'll just let it go. When I did that one there, I welded it all up, put the heat rate to it. And it did not make any noises, didn't even make any pop noises. You could hear a little crunching going on after, little tiny bits of going on after a bit, but there was nothing major going on. On this right here, when I take this off, when I take that off, I'll put this in the vise. I won't try to hold it. I'll put this in the vise and take it off, maybe get some heat on it. I do have some torches. Doug Corbin, a friend of mine I used to work with, he gave me a set of torches, mighty white of them. He did so. And, but what there is, they're stuck over in that building with a bunch of snow in front of it. So when it comes time, summertime, we'll get them out, we'll get them filled up, and I'll start using them because I feel like they could be a bonus to what I'm doing. So basically, I'm going to let that set, let it heal. I wouldn't dare put the air to it and crack it or try to make it shrink in any way. But I feel like I've got exhaust manifolds for Elvis. There you go, just like that. And I hope that maybe inspired you to know that, you know, you do what you need to do to get it done. I just take my brain a few more steps further and I just keep thinking about the time and the money for the other stuff. I had to try to work with the stuff that I got for free. I had to because it was that close and I thought I could do it. I've welded it before. This is cast steel, not cast iron, I'm saying. Let's give away a hat or a shirt, sweetheart. Let's do it. Very happy with that. That went well. And when I move the motor over, I've got that much room in between. I could try it on, I suppose, but I know I've got that much room from the frame, and I've got that much in between my firewall, so I know when I move it over that far, it's not going to hit. So basically, I'm going to move the motor over a little bit, give a little bit of room for that, because I know it fits. Then I'm going to be able to move that and have that in place, because I know that fits. So everything's going awesome. I'm going to take Jolene for a drive. It's Sunday Fun Day. If you're not working on your ride, grab your beautiful and go do something, have a little bit of fun. Because we know that every day is not for sure. Every day is not for sure. And let's enjoy our freedom. Basically, let's enjoy our freedom. We get a few furries coming here.
$6.95.
What's that, sweetheart?
$6.95.
695 comments. It must have worked. Put more comments in than one, and you may be able to win a hat or a shirt of your choice, and that's basically how it goes. Boss, owner, manager?
Yeah.
Boss, owner, manager, that's a good place to be. But you know what the problem with that is? It's called responsibility. That's the problem with that. It's nice to be the boss, the owner, and the manager because you get to do as you please, but you must understand that anybody that is their own boss or manager and owner, the responsibility that they're taking on. Not everybody wants to take on that responsibility, and hats off to you. Looks a lot better on the manifold. Get it all cleaned up and hope it will look great. It looks great. I think it'll look great. I can clean them off. You watch me buzz some pieces off that one. I can clean them manifolds right up so they're shiny. I can, and you never know. I probably won't, but you never know. I probably could. Thank you very much, boss, owner, manager. You get a hat, shirt of your choice because you took your time and wrote in a comment. And I congratulate you on taking the responsibility to run your own life. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow.